Good morning. Episode 87 of the Keep Going podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. I got a full boat today. Jessica Turner, David Mitchell, and guest host Adam O'Malley. Going to be a fun episode. Excited to be here. Wonder Lake, Illinois. What's going on, Dave?
What's going on? How we doing today? I'm coming out of Steamboat Springs, Colorado today. Beautiful day out here. What's going on with you?
You look handsome, man. Your connection is good. It's good to have you on here looking good. Adam, what's up with you?
I'm chilling, man. Happy to be here. Saw Patrick bright and early this morning. I was sleeping on the couch. He was sleeping on the floor. So
Yep.
nice to see him.
Usually you have to ask me what I did for my mental health. It was sleeping on the wooden floor of my mom's house last night, so that's always good. Air mattress is definitely in the car. We should have grabbed that. JT, where are you coming out of?
Isn't big enough.
Nope.
I'm coming out of Crystal Lake, Illinois. It's a great Sunday. It's an off Sunday, so life is good.
That's how we like it. You're about 20 minutes from us. We're not too far from you today, but all good. Weather looks great. We're excited to have you. Something that we ask every single week to our guests is, what are you doing right now for your mental health? So just for our athletes, for our listeners, what is something this past week that you did?
Something this past week that I did. So we kind of had an off week this week, which is very rare. With summer softball, is just making sure that I take time for myself and spend time with my friends and with my family this week. Travel softball is crazy. Our schedule gets super crazy. And I always feel like I'm like, go, go, go. So, really taking time to slow down and be present with other things in my life this week. So.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, taking that time to just slow down and be with yourself and also be with your support group. I think that's big.
Yeah.
Dave, we were talking a little bit in the prelude. You did not any of that. You were with yourself struggling. Tell the listeners about what you did this past weekend.
Yeah, so this past weekend I did my first trail race here in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. So it was a 9.5-mile race with 1,700 feet elevation climb up the mountain a little bit. So it was good to challenge myself and get out there, have some fun. My body's a little hurting today, but it was a good challenge for myself for sure.
Yeah, I'd say that for sure. I think that's a mental, physical, spiritual, emotional struggle. That's what we like to say, right? Getting out of your comfort zone. And I think, honestly, man, people started to think you were just taking TikToks out there. So like you had to prove to those people that you were actually doing something besides taking TikToks, which is big. Adam, how about you, man? What have you been doing?
David Mitchell, those Rock Valley boys.
Yeah, something about them Rock Valley boys.
Yeah, shout out to Rock Valley boys.
Yes, sir.
I just was busy, right? So especially running up towards the end of the week, I usually take Sunday to recharge the batteries, but I felt, on Friday I was just mentally and physically just drained. So even yesterday, like Saturday, I usually, go out, enjoy Saturday, have fun, see buddies, whatever. I just spent it relaxing at home with my dog, took him on a couple walks, and just needed to kind of refocus and recharge, because it's usually a 1-day thing for me, but just with how the week has gone, it turned into a 2-day thing. So you just got to kind of know how you're feeling and be willing to adjust. If I would have probably tried to press the gas last night, I would have woke up and felt even worse, and then it would have rolled into the week. So it's just kind of monitoring that for me.
Yeah. Right, for sure. Yeah, so Nickelback wasn't going to do it for you last night, you're thinking?
No, it was not.
Yeah, I would have to agree, man. I think it's big when you're at that point, when you get to E, when you get down to 0%, you got to know when, okay, hey, I've been filling others' cup for the last couple of days here. I got to take a step back and understand that. So, no, I appreciate it, you guys. And like I said, it's cool to have a full group. Obviously, Luke is, doing other family stuff today, but I know he's filling his cup as well and just supporting himself, which I think is a big part of this podcast. I think, JT, besides your amazing softball community, we have to talk about how we got there, because you didn't just wake up one day as a national champion. I get it.
Right.
My fiance is a national champion at Rock Valley. David Mitchell played at Rock Valley. So we have a lot of Eagle blood in the house today, but talk about softball, how you started playing and what softball means to you in the beginning of this.
I think one thing is I started at a super young age, started my T-ball era when I was 5.
Oh yeah.
My dad was he still is one of my biggest supporters. I still get phone calls from him after every game that I coach. So,
oh yeah, that doesn't go away. Yeah.
Nope, does not go away. But I mean, he definitely guided my journey, like my softball journey. And I was fortunate enough too. I played for a great program at Marengo High School. Have we went down to state twice, played into state championship games. And I just kind of fell into the right people to guide me down that path. When I went to Rock Valley, and even after I graduated, like I had Matt Langton is one who
Shout him
got
out.
me into
Shout him out.
he got me into coaching, and he got me my first high school position. So that's it's a big thing to me, like
Yeah.
having that community and being able to like still reach out to them. And they're still a part of my journey now, not just me as a player, but also me as a coach.
Right.
And now I coach in an organization as well with, my dad goes out to breakfast every month with, like the president of our org. So, like having that community relationship between like not only my softball community, but my like personal family as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick it to Dave in a second. I just think that like the community piece is something that we touch on all the time. It's like, yeah, baseball's great, softball's awesome. Like 30 plus other sports have been represented on this podcast, right? But like at the end of the day, it's about your support group. It's about that community. It's about why we keep doing this late into our 20s. And I don't know. I had someone tell me a long time ago, it's like eating a bag of potato chips. Like you can't just have one. Like this game is so addictive. This game is amazing. And it's because things like this, like we're on this morning at 8 a.m. on a Sunday doing this. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, it's so important to have the right support group around you and support you in the right way. But throughout your softball career as an athlete and now as a coach, you see it on both sides. How do you build self-confidence as a athlete if you're struggling and on the field?
Um, I mean, I think one of the biggest things, and I coach a very, very hard age. I started with 13-year-olds,
Right.
and they are now 15 and 16. So, the biggest thing is just letting them fail like on the field, and like giving them that safe environment to fail as well. There's like that fine line of, okay, we have to, rise up to the pressure,
Right.
and handle it, but like building that safe environment for them to fail and be okay with failure and being able to cope with it in the right ways as well. It's frustrating. It's hard. I mean, this game is, we coach a game, we play a game of failure, and it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
But making sure that we respond in the right ways and building that relationship and that connection where they feel safe that, okay, yes, I failed and this sucks and I feel all of these things, but tomorrow's a new opportunity. I have another opportunity to play later in the day. But continuing to give them those opportunities as well.
No doubt. I think it comes down to responding, not reacting. I mean, there's a big fine line between that. And I know Adam gets it, still with college athletes, still coaching the collegiate level. How do you feel like the collegiate level is when it comes to that, man?
I mean, every kid is just so different, and I think that's why I love it, right? Like, she was talking about the community, but at the end of the day, it is all about the relationships. Like, that's why, we've all chosen the things that we've chosen. JT, I actually have one question for you.
Okay.
When did you know, like, it was like, hey, I'm going to be a coach? Like, when did, like, that moment hit you? Because, like, we all have had our moment. Like, it's why I'm still doing this. Like, it's like that one thing where you're just like, huh.
So I actually had a poor experience with a coach, and I played under him, sucked it up for 2 years, did this, that, and the other thing. And I remember when I was leaving, I had the opportunity, I was to coach my sister. And I remember sitting there, and I think I was talking to my dad, and I was like, if I can be a coach and be a coach in a way that is not like that and have one less coach like that in the world, like that is my purpose. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure that I am making that positive impact so nobody else has to, go through that or encounter that negative experience.
I love that answer.
And I guess kind of the crazy thing is, like, I hear that more often, when I ask,
Yeah.
people like, hey, why did you start this? And it's like, because I don't want to be like XYZ. Instead of
Yeah.
almost like, hey, I had these great coaches, they pushed me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where you guys fall on that spectrum, but like, I've never heard someone really, or I've heard a couple, but I've never heard someone be like, man, I've loved every coach I had, and that's why I wanted to be a coach.
Yeah, I would have to
Like,
agree. I think there's we talked about the fine line a couple times already, but like I think there's a big difference between a game winner and a life changer. There's a big difference in my eyes. And I think having coached David, having played with you, Adam, of course, and obviously been the same coaching circles as JT, like I know what we're looking to do on this podcast and in our communities of coaches is change lives. But if you would have asked me this question at 22, Dave, I found myself guessing some days, man. I hope my heart was in the right place, but you learn as you go. You just keep trying to be impact driven and you keep trying to affect these kids because you don't know what these kids are going through. Dave, anything on that, man?
Yeah, you said it. You said it best. You learn as you go, and you keep on growing and going. Okay, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to fail. Whatever it is, life, careers, sports, anything. You're gonna fail. But if you can learn from that failure and keep growing as an individual and keep impacting other people around you, that's what it's all about. What it's all about.
I love it, man. David Mitchell had some good breakfast this morning, man. He's fired up. He's got
he's
me fired
locked
up. I
in.
love it. I love it. He's locked in, baby. I love it. So
Locked
here,
in.
so let's do this. So we touched a little bit on, obviously softball and how you got started, right? But like, yeah. Rock Valley community is gonna listen to this. Every Rock Valley episode gets a lot of love. Trust me, I'm gonna marry into it. I'm a Rock Valley Golden Eagle through and through. Talk about your experience at Rock Valley, those coaches, those players, and your overall experience.
Yeah, I mean, my Rock Valley experience is definitely like 1 in a million. Like
I
I
should have
sit there.
gapped off. I should have gapped off 3 hours for this episode if we're
I
gonna go
know,
here.
I know. I could sit here and talk forever too. Well, it's funny too because my sister, went to Rock Valley for
Oh
2 years
yeah.
as
Oh
well,
yeah.
and her and I talk all the time how we wish Rock Valley was a 4-year
Oh
school.
yeah. I've
Like,
never heard that before. Never heard that
yeah,
before.
never, not once. That's not like the tagline for
Oh my
them or
goodness.
anything.
Every time. Every time.
But like Darren Monroe, I can't thank him enough for one giving me the opportunity to grow in that program. But he also built like a great community relationship with me where I see him every weekend out recruiting and like I can go sit and have a conversation with him and talk softball with him. But he also like the program that he builds there is just like it's that perfect balance of like building that relationship and that great environment and pushing us to be like our best selves on and off the field. So I that was it was a huge building block of my life and I
Yeah.
think that is one of the most impactful.
It only took us 87 episodes, Adam and Dave, to get a Darren Monroe shout out. So for our media team, who is actually Luke Weed in his basement, I'm gonna have him clip that one because I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I think Darren, DJ, the whole staff. I mean,
Oh,
just
yes.
a blessing. A blessing.
Absolutely. And DJ too, like I know he's gone, but he still checks in. Like I have a text message sitting in my, in my inbox just checking in to see how I am. And that's the kind of relationships that they build at Rock Valley.
I
The
love
type
it.
of people they are.
You need that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
funny, even in my playing and my coaching career, like I'll still have Chad in the facility. Bob
Yeah.
Koopman, shout out Bob Koopman over at Rockford. He shot me an email a couple weeks ago. It was 5 paragraphs, and I was like, it's crazy to think not only what impact we've had on them, but the impact they've had on us. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Adam, anything there? You've been to like 15 colleges. What do you got?
No, that's the thing, dude. It's like every experience is just so different, right? Like you're talking about the people that molded you and that helped you become the person that you're still striving to become. Like it's awesome when you get like a little bit of piece of everyone that you enjoyed being around and everyone who impacted you, the right way. And like Patrick said, like I bounced around a ton, but like half the reason I'm coaching is because like I just ran into so many good people on the way where it was like, I was very lucky. So and everyone here is very lucky and everyone's very blessed, but it's like it's one of those things where you just kind of, you take a little bit from everybody and you become your own really good person. So
That's it, man. That's it. Taking bits and pieces of everybody along the way and making it your own. I'd be lying if I haven't said over the last 5 years or so, I've been a sponge in this game. Just taking bits and pieces of David Mitchell, yourself, JT, everybody that we've had in this game on this podcast. I'd be lying. I'm taking notes every week. I mean, this is a survival guide for me as much as it is for our listeners. So, all right. So we're about 15 minutes in, and yes, we are a bubbly, very positive group. So I don't want to steer us the wrong way, but JT, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not always been this way for you.
Correct.
It's been an uphill battle. It's been ups and downs in this game and in life in general. Talk about your keep going moment and why you're here today, because that is the preface of our podcast.
I knew this question was coming.
Oh, I mean, I hope so. I mean, we've had
preface,
87 episodes. So.
Yep. But when I was in college, I lost one of my best friends. And that was a moment in my life that it shifted. It was a huge impact, and it still impacts me day to day. But just being able now to share her story, I knew as soon as it happened, I took my time to grieve, and I still grieve now, but I knew immediately, I'm like, if I don't use this to impact other people, I would be doing her a disservice if she was still here. I knew as soon as I had gone through all of that I could absolutely use this to impact and better the softball world and continue to share her story.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Obviously I was around during that time in Rock Valley's community and through all that. And I know how, one, tough it was on you, and two, how tough it was on a lot of other people as well. Advice for people going through
that? My best advice would be just you have to be willing to share your experiences with somebody. There has to be somebody that's your safe space. And there has to be an environment that you feel safe, sharing those things that you're going through. I've had my own players, I've had other players, just ask to have a conversation of, hey, this is what I'm going through. What are some things that I can do because I don't want to feel like this anymore? But also knowing too, it's okay to feel like this. It's okay to be vulnerable. But you have to find that right person or that right community to hang on to.
That's big, and I think we've all been affected in some way, shape, or form, right? This is this is a tough topic, but we've had to go through it with, people that have passed away, unfortunately, and people that have attempted, and this community. It just, we have to keep talking about it. Dave, anything there?
Yeah, absolutely. No matter how hard it is to talk about it, it's so important to know yourself and reach out to someone. If it's just feel comfortable talking about it with someone in your family, a friend, it's just someone, anyone, talk about it.
Yeah.
We are here to help you. People are here to listen to you no matter what you're going through, no matter how hard it is to talk about it. It is so important to talk to somebody about it because at the end of the day, we want you here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're more valuable here. And it's crazy, Dave, and I know you've been with us for about 20 episodes now, and when we first started this whole podcast, I legitimately thought no one would ever listen to this. I thought, okay, me and Luke are going to talk. I told Adam this too. He was on one of our first episodes. I said, we're going to talk every week. No one's going to listen. But now that we've gained this thousands of athlete following, listen to what JT just said. Listen to what Dave just said about, if you're feeling this way, please reach out. And if you reach out to someone that doesn't get it the first time, reach out again. And reach out again. You're going to find that person that makes this worth it. Because I tell you right now, without these conversations, I wouldn't still be here talking to you guys today. Adam, what do you got?
No, it's always just situation by situation. It's just always something happens, and then there's two ways that it goes. It's you either catapult yourself into that impact making mindset, or it kind of just fades and you kind of live in that grayish area of trying to find yourself and trying to find who you were before and after, all these things. So that's the toughest thing about it, because everyone just gauges everything so differently, right? And like you never know how long it's going to take until you feel that way again, or like till you feel okay with, you know, going on and living and just doing the things that you were doing before that happens, right? And I think it's important to know that too. It's like, and I say this a ton in like my everyday life, you can never be in a rush to do anything. Like
Right.
you can never be in a rush to feel good. You can never be in a rush to do all these different things, because like your body doesn't know the difference. Your mind doesn't know the difference. Right. So if
Yeah.
you just kind of focus on actually feeling what you're doing and feeling what you want to do, like I think that makes all the difference in the world. So
Yeah. No,
no,
I
it's
agree.
awesome. It's great. So I've actually, because I don't have the Rock Valley connection. Like, you know, I'm a little standby, like a little, but like I've never heard, you know, the story of it. So like this is my first really interaction with it. Like I always knew of it, of course, because you guys are so like positive, and like I see it on Twitter and Instagram, but like I've never heard actually about it that much. So
Yeah. It's an example, and I always go back to Rock Valley, and I always go back to when communities get this right, right? Of course, you never want anything like this to happen. But I'm a big believer that it saved thousands of lives talking about this and understanding it and spreading awareness to it. I guess that leads me to my next question, if you don't mind answering it. For our athletes that, you know, maybe 2-3 o'clock this afternoon when this episode drops, that are feeling this way, what would you recommend for them? Like, what would you say to do besides talk about it? Maybe they have talked about it. What other things do you think would help?
My so like, and this is my own experience and something that I've had to learn too, is I am the type of person that like pushes those feelings down. Like I am like, okay, yep, just leave it. Don't have time for that. Let me go busy myself. And just kind of ignore it for now. But I would honestly like get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Take a walk outside, get some fresh air, change your environment. That's a big thing for me. Like I will find myself too, like there'll be a period where I needed a reset, but I'll sit in my bedroom for like 24
Right.
full hours.
Right.
And I like, and I've kind of had to train of like, when I'm feeling that, like I need to get out of this environment. I need to change my scenery, and get some fresh air.
I love that. And I think it's practicing what you preach too. And I think sometimes that can be stressful when you're working with so many athletes, right? Like I'm telling all my athletes to do this, and then I'm the one trapped in my bedroom. It can be humbling.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can be humbling.
Absolutely.
And I think all of us in here have experienced some mental health stuff and gone through it with our friends, family, and ourselves. I think looking back, it's a lot on your shoulders some days to like say, hey, I'm not too busy. There's not too many people I need to attest to right now. I need to do it for me. Dave, how about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that answer. Comes down to change your environment, change your state, I think, as
Yeah.
well. Change your state of being. If you're feeling down, go outside, exercise, do some type of activity outside. Just change your state in that being, because I don't fully understand it, but if you can change the state as much as you can, like if you're feeling down and you're just sitting still, you're going to keep on feeling those um, down feelings. And if you can try to change that emotion, or call someone or talk to someone about changing your emotion and realizing that your emotion in that moment is not the best, and maybe you
Right.
need to change and do something for yourself to do that, and recognize how you just talked about, okay, I've been sitting inside for 24 hours. I don't feel good in here. Change your
Right.
environment. No matter, that's very hard when you're in that situation to do it, but it's best if you can.
Yeah, I agree. I think it can be very humbling. Like I said before, like you sit there and you're like, dang, I'm still in here. I gotta get up. And I think it's tougher some days than others for sure. All right. Well, Jay, we're about 25 minutes in here. So I want to do popcorn questions. It's
All right.
Adam's first episode, because if you've listened to one of these podcast episodes, I never start. So Adam's gonna start. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, nice. Did you tell him this is an did you tell him this is an emergency? We're on the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Oh yeah, been there.
Oh,
So if we lose you, we just know you don't want to be here anymore. That's all.
yep. That's what it is.
It never goes smooth. If you've listened to the Keep Going podcast, I could be in an airport, a Burger King, or a gas station. You never really know. I'm in the backyard today. It's a nice little back jump. All right, Adam, ask a darn question, man. Come on.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. I think like when I knew that it was like for me and I was doing it for me is just like I getting like a text from one of my kids of like, oh my gosh, you won't believe what happened today. Like I couldn't wait to tell you. Like I did the X, Y, and Z. I
Best
got
feeling in the world.
100%.
Best feeling in the
Yes,
world.
I got 100% on my math test, and I'm like, that's a huge win. Like when like I'm getting that feedback, um like I feel like it fills my cup up. Like that is like the biggest like cup filler, and I'm like, this is what I need, and this is what fills me. This is my purpose here, um is getting that positive feedback, and I know that like I'm on the right track for me because like again, this is what drives me. Okay, yeah, yeah, sure. Hmm. I do. I totally feel like it chose me. Like there were opportunities I felt like that honestly like just fell into my lap. Like I couldn't write it any different or any better. Where because of where I am now, like um I had Phil Hempen come up to a dugout and ask me if I would be willing to coach. I just feel like these opportunities were opportunities that I just could not turn down. And like these were presented to me for a reason. And if I didn't take it, I don't know where I would be. Um, so
No,
yeah.
love that. Love that. Dave, go ahead. You're up.
Yeah. Who throughout your journey, who has inspired you the most?
Oh, you stole Luke Wheat's question. He'd be proud. Go
Had to. Had to.
uh, you know, I would say honestly, my sister. Um, she right now she's in her senior year at NIU playing like Division 1 softball. Like she has such an impact on my life, and she's one that will send me a text like, guess what happened, like thank you so much for supporting me, but in reality like she is one that has the biggest impact in me on me. Watching her play the game is just so like inspiring, and like she plays it with so much passion that like I sit like in admiration of her watching her play. I would say she's my biggest impact, biggest supporter. um so yeah.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that.
great to have.
I
That's
love
great
that.
to have a sibling that has been around your field and you've been able to connect with her in that way. That's
Yeah.
special.
Yeah. I'm a little bit biased to that because I got to sit there at 20, 21 years old and watch my brother play on the same field as me in college. And
Yeah.
I think looking back at it, oh, I could cry. Wow. I think looking back at it, wow, I'm choking up. looking back at it, my playing career, I was more often celebrating his wins out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he would go 1, 2, 3, and I would run in with him, like I would go back and literally do that in a heartbeat. Like, and it wasn't my successes. Sometimes you find yourself cheering so hard for those other people, and I know you have that feeling with Jenna, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's so evident that you're not faking it. It's unbelievable. Like you love your sister, and you love the impact that she's made in this game of softball, and you've been a huge part of that. So
yeah.
I guess before I started crying, I think honestly, you can be such an impact for your family, for your friends, but I don't know. I think they can impact you just as much, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool thing. All right. Well, I'm gonna stop crying and ask my question. All right. My last question I think I have for you today is in the mental health community, what are you looking to accomplish? I mean, you've been through so much. I think you've been very modest today about your personal experience with mental health. You've done so much work on yourself for the last couple of years. What are you trying to accomplish in all this?
I think just like growing the game, and we talk about it all the time, is like ending that stigma around athletes and having like building this community that athletes feel safe to be vulnerable and still be competitive in their game. um I mean, we see it all the time that athletes, Division 1 athletes, they win national championships and they still lose their battle to mental health. Like this is real, and this is a thing. If we don't start talking about it and having these platforms where these athletes feel safe, especially at a young age, we're going to continue to have these have these negative conversations. So just like inspiring these kids to build their own platform too, um, in the softball community.
I'll say this. If that's what you're looking to accomplish over the last 30 minutes, you've done that. I've never had more 15, 16, 17-year-old pro player softball players follow our page over the last week. I've quite frankly, we've had really good softball players on there. Like some of the top athletes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seeing your following, how they've responded, you should be so proud of that.
I am. I'm gonna start crying now. Here you go.
It's a Sunday morning. We might as well all just start crying.
Yeah, no, my kids are awesome. Like as much as like they buy into me, like I buy into them as well. Like I have kids that they'll check in on me. Like oh my God, Pat, what did you do to me?
Sorry, yeah, that's on me. I was already crying. That's on me. Go ahead.
Like just they're awesome. Like I couldn't write a better script. Like my kids are great.
Yeah, I can relate. I think we're all still in this game, and I know me and my brother are still doing lessons. Dave did lessons and sessions at the barn and in other facilities for a long time. There ain't anything better in the whole world than sitting there on a Saturday when you think you have no lessons and your kids are blowing you up by the home run they just hit, or
Yep.
the mom that's been driving them. I have a mom, and shout out Shelly. I have to shout out Shelly here, one of my moms. Hopefully she listens to this. I think that'd be awesome. But they've come every Sunday since January at 9 p.m. on Sundays.
Yeah.
And Gavin, the son, just works. And the feeling of getting that text of, I hit a nuke today, coach, or I did this, or I struggled today, but I responded this way. I just sit there going, wow. Adam, I know you're still in this field, man. Like, how do you feel when that happens?
Yeah.
Here's what I'll
Did
say.
we
I'm going
lose
to go ahead
him?
and wrap us up today. I appreciate everybody jumping on. I'm going to let the puppy in and we're going to wrap this thing up. But JT, I appreciate you. Keep going. And I love this group, and we'll talk soon. Okay, guys?
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Keep going. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you
Bye.
guys.